And of course, we can't discuss technology without, talking about virtual reality. It's the future of training, as we're told just about every day. And so it's awesome, really. But when should we invest in VR? And it's best when the physical environment is essential to the learning goals. For example, if the environment is geographically far away, too small, too large, or too dangerous, VR is a great fit. Avatars, chatbots, and virtual humans created with game technology that Tracy showed us are also used to create virtual conversations and practice decision-making skills. Someday these might become virtual coaches powered by machine learning, but we're not here today. We're not there yet. Think about your last conversation with Siri or Alexa, and you'll see what I mean. Today, we power the AI with algorithms built by humans to create that immersive intelligence and that realism. And so the bottom line is we need to choose the technology that fits the learning goals. I think that's a theme you hear about today.
But Doug, this virtual reality, there's a lot of pressure on people to actually incorporate that, because otherwise you're going to look outdated if you don't have some kind of virtual reality experience. Is it worth the money? What would you say to people that feel that kind of pressure to put virtual reality into every form of online technological response to learning?
Well, I think you've heard today that providing that immersion really, and where they feel like they're in it, is very important. And so I think that is highly valuable, and that's kind of the feedback we've received. However, when you approach it, sometimes it's approaching, well, then we should be going to virtual reality with headsets, and that's an option. But as I indicated, that technology is pretty early on, and it's not really set as a platform yet that you can, it's moving very quickly. When we think about technology, we're thinking more as a providing, a platform where you can build these sorts of experiences, and to be able to create these realistic situations, allow them to make decisions, and then provide that feedback and so it creates kind of like a real role play that's happening with the best coach. And that's what we often hear, is that the best coaches in the organization have the subject matter expertise, and they also have the knowledge to be able to, and the skill to actually create these dynamic situations, and put the trainee in those situations, and kind of coach them through those situations. But there's only a few of them. So if you can use technology to kind of replicate and scale that experience, that's where technology can really make a difference. And I think that's often where we see, the investment makes a lot of sense. If you have limited number of these coaches, you can scale them across, the experience across your organization, and then measure it. So that's where a lot of the value comes.
And how important is realism?
I think there's been a lot of evidence that across many different areas that, for example, in the military, it's studied this a lot, medicine has studied this a lot, and the conclusion is that the more realistic the situation is, the better the learner will be able to respond in that situation and apply that in the real situation later on. The realism does make a significant difference to the actual performance later on. And it also improves engagement, where they feel like they're involved, just like they would when they're with a real dynamic coach. You want to have that experience online as well, and not make it dry and boring.
Yeah, well, if evidence shows that, then as Matt says, you can't argue with the evidence. If it's worth it, then absolutely.